this is a poem for Zara. When Zara cries, she withdraws into herself, pulls pint-sized knees to her chest, wraps slender arms tight around them, buries her face, red, in the tiny hollow she creates with her whole body, using everything she has to protect herself from further hurt. And I am so moved by the sight of her so small. I want to hold every bit of her, whisper tears away, tell her everything will be okay, even though we both know it won't be okay. If I can only hold her tight enough, warm enough, long enough, with all of me enough until everything is okay. I love her so much I could stop trains with my bare hands. When we swam in the warm ocean of inside jokes and smiles, wrists strapped to boogie boards on white caps, I was always aware of the distance between us, aware of her narrow shoulders pressed against those waves, the riptide tugging at my ankles, so eagerly sucking her from my gasp. And I called to her, beckoning her closer, holding her hand as the biggest waves broke over our heads and battered us, always ready to leap through the current, grab her ankle and save her from washing out to sea. Once or twice, I found myself alone in the ocean up to my neck, tossed, eyes blurred with salt and sand and sunscreen, grasping in vain for my lover's fingertips, only to look behind me and see her head pop up near the shore, having just caught the perfect wave and smiling. That poem is about, I use the ocean as a metaphor for life.
Yeah.
And if you picture us, when you're playing in the waves, they kind of toss you around, and it's kind of a struggle to stay close to each other, because if you don't pay attention, suddenly, you're way far away. And that's like the metaphor is life. If you don't pay attention, life will drag you apart. And you will eventually be so far apart you can't do anything about it. So in those points where I know that there's a lot of struggle, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of waves crashing over us, I just want to hold on to her, with everything I can so we don't get separated, But there's that moment where you realize you have to let go. And you're scared because suddenly you're all alone and the water's up to your neck and you start freaking out. Where is she? Is she going to be okay? Am I going to be okay? But then you look over your shoulder and she just caught a wave and she's laughing. That wave is life and experiences, and she has to do her own thing, and she's going to be okay. She's laughing. And you're going to be okay because you're treading water. So it's that realization that it's time to move on. You're going to be okay, even though it's hard. That's what that poem's about.
Do you have any love poems?
Oh yeah, I got love poems.
Can you read them?
Can you read them?
I'll read a love
Who
poem.
that is? That's not.
No. I got love poems. About a pound.
India, are you in love?
Am I in love?
No. I asked India was she in love. She's in a deep relationship.
Yeah. Here's a poem about who I want to find eventually. This is the type of person I want to be in love with. And I guess I'm still with her. We're still the best of friends, me and Zara. We're real close, It's not one of those breakups where it's like you cuss at each other and you never want to see each other again. And suddenly they're dating your best friend who's like behind your back all the whole time whispering in your ear. We're the best of friends. And it's just kind of hard, It's like, wow, she might be kissing somebody soon. That's a bad thing. It makes me want to throw up. But this is who I'm looking for in a person. So this is like a love letter to my future girlfriend, if I ever find one. I want someone quicker to laugh than to rage. Someone who does things rather than just sit on the couch talking about doing things. Someone who makes things. Someone who makes things happen. Someone who watches the news and gets angry and wants to do something about it. Someone who can appreciate a long, deep breath full of summertime after being pelted by swollen rain raindrops the size of baby fists. Someone who can sit on a couch under a blanket and read with me while music is playing on the stereo, sipping tea with lemon and honey and touching hips. Someone who will look me in the eye and tell me I am wrong, but who doesn't always have to be right. Someone who can have a conversation lasting hours, but who isn't afraid of silence. Someone who enjoys debating movies and politics and what happens after you die and whether or not there's a God. Someone who enjoys lazy bike rides along long bridges and back alleys. Someone who would rather see local theater than watch television, but who also appreciates that sometimes TV's kind of cool. Someone who isn't afraid to dance, even though they secretly know they look silly when they dance, but it's okay because everyone looks silly when they dance. Someone who can't pass a puppy without patting its scruffy head. Someone who has favorite words and goes out of their way to use them regularly. By the way, my favorite words are succotash, scallywag, shindig, and brouhaha. Someone who yearns for travel and adventure, but who also appreciates the lure of tire swings on backyard oak trees. Someone with their act together, most of the time at least. Someone who doesn't take themselves so seriously that we can't laugh at each other. Someone who will stick up for what they believe in, especially if I don't believe in it. Someone who can kick my butt at Scrabble, Balderdash, and Cranium, and Super Mario Brothers. Someone who can actually spell brouhaha. Someone who can appreciate the joy of mix CDs. Someone who spoons and cuddles. Someone who kicks ass. Someone who has lofty goals they can actually taste. Someone who has gotten their heart torn apart and has learned to sew it back together again all by themselves. Someone who appreciates handmade birthday cards and homemade cakes that are kind of lopsided, but real honest. That's one of them.
Is that what you looking for, Andrew?
Is that who you're looking for? Who are you looking for?
Josh.
Oh, don't be telling us that.
Dictator.
Hey, you know, did I tell you this is my first time in Mississippi?
What about your Mississippi with Lover?
What's that?
In the book, you had Mississippi girl.
I dated somebody from Mississippi.
Oh.
She was really cute too, but man, she was trouble. She was big trouble. You ever meet that person that you know is big trouble, and you know you're gonna end up hating life? but you
Alonzo cousin.
still- His cousin.
That's Mississippi girl.
Yeah. I knew she was trouble. She had a big blinking sign that said trouble, but I was like, sign me up. I'll hang out with you for a couple months and hate my life at the end of it, but it's okay. So it was just big trouble. What is that, water in a bag? Oh, what happened to your hand?
He's a kicker.
He's a kicker?
Yeah.
He good?
He was whacking.
Yeah, he's a good kicker.
Nice. I broke my hand.
He was whacking.
Right here. Is that what you broke your finger?
Nah, it's like a piece of bone chip.
For real? The bone right here, it looks kind of like a fist. It's all broken like that right here.
I got seven.
Will you share with us some of your memorable days in high school when you were 10th, 11th, 12th grade, some of the 10th grade, what these students on?
When I was in high school,
10th grade, 10th or 11th grade.
Butler.
it was the worst time of my whole life.
Huh?
I was 15, and I was sad, and I was lonely, and I didn't have any friends, and I was shy, and I was a smart kid, but I didn't feel like doing homework, so I was a bad student, but a smart kid. And at the time, all the teachers, they just didn't seem to care. It was just like a job to them, you know what I'm saying? And I just wanted someone to talk to me like a real person, but nobody would. And so I was very, very, very unhappy and shy. I was like the quiet kid who sat in the very back, dressed in black, never spoke. If we ever had to get up in front of the class to do oral presentations, I'd be like the kid, Norman. And then Abraham Lincoln, freedom slaves, and good night. And then it was very, very difficult. My mouth would be dry, my hands would shake. I would ask the teacher, please don't call on me during class. I don't want to talk. And then, of course, they want to call on you, trying to say, come on, I'm just trying to bring it out of you. Come on, join the class. Hey, Eric, what do you think? Let's join the class. And everybody would just look at me like I was the biggest freak in the world. I just wanted everybody to ignore me and leave me alone. And it wasn't until I took, you guys have like a drama club here, right?
Yeah.
I took a class, like a drama class. class just because I was so afraid of talking in front of people. And I remember the first day of class, you had to read lyrics. That was the exercise. You just brought in lyrics from a favorite song and you read them. That's all you had to do. And I was so scared I couldn't talk. So it was a small class like this, and I had to just, read the lyrics. But I was too afraid, and my hands were shaking, and I couldn't make myself talk. And finally, the teacher was like, "Go ahead and sit down. It's okay." And at the end of the class, he was like, "Yeah, if you can't even do that, maybe you need to think twice about being in this classroom." I mean, how is that for encouraging a kid? You failed the first time, well, maybe you should quit. But I was like, "I won't quit, I tell you." My voice hadn't changed. "I won't quit, I tell you, I won't." So I kept coming back, and I kept coming back. And finally, I got the courage to talk about it, or talk. And then you couldn't shut me up. So around junior year, senior year, it started to get better. I started to have friends. I started to date girls. But when I was 15, my parents thought I was on drugs. But I was just on sadness. I was just sad all the time. I wasn't on drugs. I was just sad all the time. And so they took me to a psychologist. And I don't know if y'all do. When I was a kid, I used to cut myself. And I don't know why. It was just a thing you did. It was a real stupid thing to do. But I felt like I was so numb that by cutting myself, I would feel something, And my parents caught me doing that, so they took me to a psychologist, and the psychologist was like, "Look, he's a bright kid, he's just quiet, and this is difficult. It's hard being 15. Don't you remember?" My parents were like, "No, that was a long time ago." So the psychologist was really cool. He was like, "Look, get him out of the stupid classes that you keep putting him in. Put him in the classes where he can actually be challenged, and listen to him every once in a while. Don't try to talk to him all the time. Why don't you just ask him questions, and maybe things will change." And then things slowly got a little bit better. So by the time I got out of high school, it wasn't so bad.
That's a sign that it's almost time for one more minute.
We've got 10 minutes left. We get out at 11:15.
No, we don't.
11:05.
Oh, yeah.
We don't, you damn it.
I'll take one more question if anybody's got a burning question.
Nice.
Ever heard of Deaf Poetry? HBO Deaf Poetry? You should go to YouTube and look up Deaf Poetry. They called me and put me on HBO doing poetry, and that ended up helping me a lot. So now I just do this. Thank you so much for letting me sound.
Or every couple break.
Thank you, good to see you this afternoon.
Thank you so much. How did I do that?
Very well.
Proud of. So even though I wrote probably 1,000 poems in that year, I only picked one for every day. But I didn't even do some every day, so sometimes I skip around. But it starts like in August, and then it loops back around and goes
Back to August.
yeah. So you kind of have to flip around a little bit.
So what's it like in Moss Point so far?
It's hot and sticky. It's a little humid here, but I like it so far. Everybody's really nice and welcoming, and you never know what's gonna happen. You never know what kind of reception you're gonna get. People are gonna be bored by it, or crunching up their arms and thinking it's gonna be stupid because they think poetry is stupid. But eventually, they see that it's not what they expect, and then everybody opens up, and so everybody's been really nice.
What's it like moving around like you do for these different things?
It's a trip. I fly a lot, and I hate flying. I absolutely hate it. And so I'm constantly flying, and I'm constantly stressed out and constantly scared. But that's a good place to write. So like when I'm perfectly happy and everything's wonderful and I'm not stressed at all, I don't write because I'd rather just be happy. So because I'm constantly stressed out and scared of dying and missing, the people that are dear to me because I'm gone, it puts me in a constant state of needing to write. So I write all the time. So I have a lot of poems to write because of this experience. Plus I climbed up into a big oak tree and I just chilled for a while. There's a big oak tree outside, and I needed to just relax because I was starting to get overwhelmed because it's hard to talk to so many people. So I just climbed up into a tree and I chilled with the bees, and now I'm cool. So that was nice.
Diana was phenomenal like an African queen. Yeah. Even she had a disguise. See, my friend, she ran the streets with her mind, never with her mouth. And see, that gained her much respect from people from here down south. But the day was tragic. We never thought it would be because of a hater. See, we woke up one morning to hear knocks on the door. Her man thought he was lucky, thought he had caught another score. Being her so free, she took her chances. She was a man's everyone. Even some girls couldn't stand it. You see, the knocks became louder and harder as she began to walk faster. I trailed right behind her, never knowing of a disaster. She yelled, "Hey, I'm coming, I'm on my way." Then the knocks became silence. Then she got to the door and she said, "Who is it? Hello?" But no one replied to her. Then, she gave me the nod to stand behind the door as she made a move. Gangster as she was, a soldier in defeat. My homegirl, she was true. She unlocked the first 2 locks. Then she grabbed the knob to the door. What would happen next is some stuff I ain't never seen before. 2 shots rammed out, caught her off guard, ran right into her chest. Then one more went straight into her head, put her life to rest. See, I'm blessed. That could have been me, but that's not the point. The point is, they took a life. My best friend. See, it was all because of a hater. Now she's looking down on us, watching over us. It's a hood's love. Everything was going good at first. Never thought it was coming. We never expected her to be gone. That's a hood's love. Now we have Victoria. She was if you came last week, she got first place in the poetry slam, so she's gonna come out and recite her poem. been featured on CBS, BET, and NPR. What is NPR? And is one of the most recognized names in the Poetry Slam community. After starting up the Poetry Slam scene in his college town of Chico, California, Big Papa traveled across the country on tour with a band of the best poets of the day. He now lives in Austin, Texas, and continues to tour all over the world, performing for all ages. He'll make you laugh. He'll make you cry. He loves it when you call him Big Papa. Y'all sing that for me when he come out. His words will hypnotize you. And if they do not, right away, just give him one more chance. This goes out to all of you. Here is Big Papa E.
Cherish, give it up for Cherish, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. I need you guys to understand what it means to applaud. That means make a lot of noise, including the woos. Now check it out. I would not be here right now were it not for an email exchange I had with Cherish, the person who introduced me. I didn't know who she was. I just knew she had a poetry slam going down, and I'm all about that. So I emailed her, and she was like, dude, in high school. But it'd be kind of cool if you came here. Let me see if I can pull some strings. As you can see, those strings were pulled. I would not be here were it not for Cherish. So ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Cherish. That's what I'm talking about. And what about that poem by Victoria? Were you feeling that? Give it up for Victoria. She's like, no, it's all good, it's all good, no, it's all good, it's all good. I'm gonna start out by doing, whoa, look at that. I am short and bald and a little tubby. Wait, I'm right. Yeah, you can tell, I'm right here. What I do, I turned 40, that's what I did, now shut up. So I'm gonna start it off with a poem that some of y'all have heard, you've seen me before. Anybody see YouTube? Anybody do YouTube? If you search for Big Papa E on YouTube, you'll find like 115 videos, there's a lot of stuff there. And out of all of those, this is my favorite piece. If I have to have something on my tombstone, this will be the one. I know I'm short, so. This one goes out to those who refuse to be defined, who look at government forms as a challenge, who see the safe little boxes next to Caucasian and Asian, Black and Hispanic, and make their own little box labeled all of the above, who scratch out the question entirely and write their own names in large capital letters, who, when forced to choose between male and female, write instead, see attached 27-page document detailing why my gender and sexuality will never fit within the confines of your stupid little boxes.
This one goes out to those who fight every day for the simple right to exist. For every gay kid ever beaten up for being gay. For every straight kid ever beaten up for being gay. You don't even know. For every girl who looks into the hungry eyes of magazine models and shouts, I don't need the body of a skinny 12-year-old boy to be beautiful. Gaze upon my thick thighs with envy. For every boy who winces when his friends measure their masculinity by how many girls they screw over and are man enough to call them out for it. For every girl who has screamed enough and marched with her sisters to take back the night from monsters who would rather they stay at home afraid. For every band geek who picked up a guitar or a drumstick or a French horn instead of a bomb. For every poet who picked up a pen instead of a gun and expressed their anger with words and not blood. For every jock who refused to see those physically weaker than them as less than them. And for every teacher who risked their jobs by simply being there when no one else would, this one goes out to you. By the size of their parents' bank accounts, by the clothes they wear, the music they listen to those who demand to be defined by their actions, not by their factions, who can't wait to turn 18 so they can finally vote those idiots out of office. Who refuse to be passive consumers in this self-centered nation and throw away their televisions and make their own movies, who throw out their PlayStations and make their own video games, who teach themselves to play their own music and write their own novels and create their own art, and most of all, this one goes out to the kid listening right now who thinks I cannot possibly be talking about them. The quiet kid, the one who never speaks, who never raises his voice or his hand, the one with no friends, who's never been on a date, the one ignored by parents, by teachers, by other kids. Yes, this one goes out to you. Most of all know this. I understand. I hear you. I used to be you. Don't you let anyone say your voice has no value. Raise your voice, kid, and don't ever stop. And I'm very tired. I came in from Austin, Texas late last night, and I hate flying, and I get scared of flying. And speaking of church, I have never been so close to God than when I'm on an airplane. I pray like nobody's, I'm like, ah! I just pray to Jehovah, God, Vishnu, Buddha. I don't care who it is, as long as you get me there safe, I will pray to you. If churches look like airplanes, I would feel perfectly at home praying in them. So it's constantly stressful when I have to fly, and I have to fly all the time, but it's been a real pleasure. This is my first time in Mississippi, and you have welcomed me, so thank you very much. So, I wrote this poem for a couple of friends going through this very difficult time. You know, when your idea of self butts up against your parents' idea of self, or your mentor's idea of self, like they have an idea of who you should be, then there's the reality of who you actually are. And a lot of times that causes a lot of friction, especially when you're getting ready to graduate or move on to bigger things, whether it's a job or family or more school. You want to be yourself. You want to define yourself, and that's a struggle because sometimes the people who have been raising you just have this different idea of you. It's a very difficult time sometimes. And so I wrote this poem about that time. It's called The Wisdom of Scars. There comes a time in everyone's life when they must be allowed to discover this truth. The sweetest berries are in the very heart of the sticker bush. It's the scratches that make them sweet. If I have learned anything about life, it is this. A knee without scars is evidence of a life unlived. Children, protected from playing in the dirt, grow into sick adults unable to fight the simplest infections. Parents can't possibly redeem themselves for past bad choices by forcing their children into closets. This will only make them blind and afraid and vulnerable, and it will make them hate you. You can't protect me from my mistakes. I need them. I need the protection of calluses. I need the wisdom of scars. So, give me a life full of rope burns and splinters and heartfelt advice I'm allowed to ignore. Give me shins scraped by pavement and front teeth cracked by tree limbs and elbows bloodied into stories worth telling. At the end of my life, the last thing I want to see is a long series of safe choices and measured steps. Give me instead a life filled with dizzying triumphs, fueled by countless lovely mess-ups and wonderfully painful bad choices, with cockamamie schemes that sometimes actually worked, and stories so outrageous people never stop sharing them as their own. Please, God, let my last dying breath be scented with gentle regret for stupid stuff I had the courage to try, and none for things I dared not do. Mistakes are the only things that have taught me anything, and I have learned a lot. The only lessons worth learning are the ones that leave a mark. When I get to the end of the poem and it's time for you to applaud furiously, I will hug myself like this in the ghetto style, and you will freak out. Ready? Let's practice. This lady, she's just like sleeping on her elbow. I want to hear you scream. Ready? And y'all left me hanging. Y'all left me hanging. I feel like Michael Jackson. Yeah, it's you. We are the ones that make a brighter day, so that's all we do. There's a chance we're making. Wow. Now I really feel like Michael Jackson. I shouldn't have said that. Who are you? Where'd you come from? Wait a second. These are little kids. I want you to applaud these kids right here on the stage. It's funny, I asked them where they're from and I heard lava, 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 lava. So cool, welcome from lava, 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 lava. Alright, so check it out. I write poetry about things that really move me. And one of the things that really moves me are giving it up for people who maybe don't have a voice of their own. Giving it up for the little guy. Raising my voice for someone who maybe doesn't have the courage or the ability to raise their own voice. That's what I'm all about, and that's what this poem is all about. It's about raising my voice for the biggest little guy in the entire universe. There are few things in this life that are strictly black and white. Most issues float somewhere in the middle of a vast sea of gray, open to a myriad conflicting interpretations. But I am here to tell you that there are such things as absolute truths, undeniable facts that rise from that wishy-washy sea of opinions and stand resolutely like Venus in a clamshell for all to see. I am talking about incontrovertible proofs that are impossible to deny, of which I will now list 5. 1. The sun will rise and the sun will set. 2. all who are born will one day die. 3, Justin Timberlake solo is way better than Justin Timberlake in NSYNC. 4, feel me on that. 4, crunchy peanut butter is not only irrefutable proof of God's existence, but it also shows he loves us very much. And people who like smooth peanut butter hate the baby Jesus. Which is the reason I am here right now and I am speaking of that one remaining sterling truth no reasonable person can deny. Pluto is a freaking planet! So, a bunch of self-important professors got bored one day and decided to get back at all the cruel people who wouldn't date them in high school by knocking Pluto standing in the universe down to dwarf planet and renaming it 134340. And why? Because Pluto isn't like other planets. Pluto's smaller than most moons. Pluto's got a bit of a strange orbit. Wah, freaking wah. But really, who in this great big room full of people has never been considered an oddball, an outcast, special? Let him that hath never been considered a dweeb cast the first meteoroid. Pluto is like the chubby goth girl lurking at the edge of the solar system, staring longingly at the cosmic dance floor filled with all the popular planets. Ew, look at me, I'm Saturn, look at my freaking rings. Ew, look at me, I'm Jupiter, I'm so deep, look at my third eye. All these planetary John Lennons and Paul McCartneys vying for celestial attention while poor Ringo gets pushed to the back of the Universal stage. And let me tell you, without Ringo, the Beatles would have amounted to nothing. Ringo put the beat into the Beatles, and without him, they would have just been the Beatles. Without chubby goth girls, gay high school boys would never have bosoms to cry upon. I never would have had bosoms to cry upon. Is the symbol for every kid who's never fit in. We need Pluto as proof that no matter how small you are, how separated from mainstream society, how abnormal, how weird you are, you too can be someone worth looking up to. You too can be a planet. I don't care what they say. I don't give a darn about no so-called science. Forget science. This is beyond science. This is about belief. And I believe that Pluto was a planet long before these bitter eggheads were mewling and puking on their mama's knees. And when they're all dead and buried along with their hoity-toity ideas and the universe has forgotten their blink of existence, Pluto will still be out there, watching over this tiny, blue, gay planet from afar, like the chubby goth girl best friend it always was. Call Pluto what you will, but remember this, a rose by any other name is still a freaking planet. How you doing? What? Your mama what? Let me do haiku about your mama. I got all kinds of haiku about your mama. I don't know. You want me to talk about your mama? I'm gonna talk about his mama, Mississippi style. When I say, like, say for instance, your mama's so fat, you ask me, your mama's so fat, your mama's so fat, she ain't got a waistline, she got a coastline. Your mama's so fat, she jumped in the air and got stuck. Trips to haul ass. What? And one more. Your mama's so stanky. Your mama's so stanky she used Secret and it told. If you were able to vote in this election, let's take, just by a show of noise, how many people, if they had the chance, would vote for John McCain? Okay, there's some white people in the audience. If you had the opportunity, how many people would vote for Hillary Clinton? The person I'm going to vote for, Barack Obama. That's what I'm talking about. I would like to dedicate a poem to Barack Obama. It's a bit of a quiet poem, so I need your help on it. Anybody ever heard of Langston Hughes? One of my favorite poets. He wrote a poem a long time ago, and it seems like it was just written today. And in honor of Barack Obama, I'm going to read it now. It's called Let America Be America Again. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plains seeking a home where he himself is free. America was never America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be the great strong land of love, where never kings connive nor tyrants scream that any man be crushed by one above. It was never America to me. Oh, let my land be a free land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity that is real and life that is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor whites, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young man, full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying the need, of work the man, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker, sold to the machine. I am the Negro, servant to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean, hungry yet today hungry yet today despite the dream, beaten yet today, oh pioneers. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years, yet I am the one who dreamed our basic dream. In the old world, while still a serf of kings who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true that even yet its mighty daring seems in every brick, and every stone, and every furrow turned, that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore, of Poland's plain, and England's grassy lay, and torn from black Africa's strand, I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay. For all the dreams we've dreamed and all the songs we've sung and all the hopes we've held and all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay, except the dream that's almost dead today. Please let America be America again. The land that never has been yet, and yet must be. The land where every man is free. The land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on Americans' lives, we must take back our land again, America. Oh yes, I say it plain, America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we, the people, must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains, and the endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again. Yo, it's humid in Mississippi. I'm up here sweating like a fool. Can you guys see, am I glistening? Look at this. Look at this glisten I have. I'm glowing. And I am really bald.
It's like an Oompa Loompa.
Oh my goodness. Did somebody just call me Oompa Loompa? Oompa Loompa, Oompa-dee-doo. So, I want to talk a little bit more. Y'all know what haiku are? Yes! In case you don't know what a haiku is a very small Japanese form of poetry. 3 lines, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables, usually about nature and the passage of time. But I write about pretty much anything I want. I'm going to pick out some poems for you. I write a poem every day. I've written a poem every day for a year. And I'm just going to flip, and then when you say stop, I will read a poem on that page. So drum roll, please. So I'm going to read out the date that I wrote this poem. If it happens to be your birthday, I want you to give me a what? March 17th. And it's a poem about a girl. Oh, everybody go, aww. All the girls. All the guys. I wrote this March 17th. Yeah, your mama is very hot. This is the haiku I wrote. My lover. Shh. Listen. My lover is at her most beautiful when she sings me to sleep. When I do a deep poem like that, here's the appropriate response. Say, oh, and then like snap your fingers. People ask me all the time how I write poems and where they come from. I have no idea. And they ask me if I get blocked, if I get writer's block, and I get this all the time. This is March 24th. 1%. I need a brand new dictionary. All my words are old, worn out. And here's one for March 27th. 9:30 a.m. The breakfast of champions. Cherry Pop-Tarts. Drum roll, please. February 13th, day before Valentine's Day. Girl, you can call me autobiography, cause I'm all about you. Here's another one. About an ex-girlfriend. Tonight is the first night in 3 years I did not think of you. Wait, damn. Y'all like the bitter ones too. You want some more bitter ones about that? Well, I got some bitter. I'll get bitter on it. I won't read my nasty ones though. Right. You get fired, don't you? No. Bitter ex-girlfriend haiku number 957. Your heart's like Iraq's weapons of mass destruction. It never existed. Bitter ex-girlfriend haiku number 59. If you love something, let it go. If it does not come back, then kill it. And finally, bitter ex-girlfriend haiku number 1. I love you in God's way, which means I ignore you and never return your calls. No, I'm not bitter about any of my relationships. You know, even like the worst relationships that make you cry and feel bitter about the whole world, even those you can get something good about. Because it's all about experiences. You know, all we are like this walking bunch of experiences and problems and mistakes and issues and choices that we've made. That's all we really are. And even the stuff that hurts helps us grow. So it's important to know that, you know? You know, there's so often when you get into a breakup situation where you feel like you have to hate the other person and never talk to them again, it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. For instance, I just got broken up with. Like a week and a half ago, I bought my girlfriend of 3 years some flowers and had them delivered to her work, and she came home for lunch and was like, baby, we need to talk. Don't you hate those words, like the words, we need to talk? That's like when your dad's like, step outside, we need to take a walk. You're like, no. Y'all ever have to go get the switch yourself? Like when you're in trouble? My old school grandma will be like, go outside and give me a switch. You'd be like, Grandma, no! And you know you have that big old little kid head, you'd be like, no! And I'd be getting like a leaf. Here, Grandma! She'd be like, that's it, I'm gonna go uproot a tree. My grandma, she would get you. She had like these flip-flops that she would wear, and she'd be like, whoosh, like a ninja. You could just be in the other room thinking bad thoughts, and she'd be like, whoosh, I hear you. And it would return to her like a boomerang. You'd hear it. And Grandpa had a belt with this like metal thing on the tip. Oh, forget about it. He'd be like, and you'd lose an ear. You'd be like, Grandpa, my ear! You took my ear off, Grandpa! Right. I'll take the other one too. You touch that candy again. Don't make me take out Grandma's teeth. I'll hit you with them teeth. Did your grandma ever brandish her teeth at you? Be like, come here! Grandma, get them nasty old pork, pickled pig's feet looking teeth out your mouth. Hey, do you guys like grits?
Yeah.
to make some grits. They don't have grits in Austin, Texas. In Austin, Texas, you know how they make grits? With like butter and sugar, like it was cream of wheat. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You're in the South now, man.
I know I'm in the South. You can't go to the restaurant and order one grit. I would like a grit. I'm not very hungry. I don't want grits. I would just like one thing to eat. I would take me some little grit. I like some grits. Y'all want to hear another poem?
Emo love song in the key of 9 3/4.
Did anybody read Harry Potter? Alright. For everybody who doesn't know Harry Potter, I apologize.
22. Pretty sure.
But I'm going to read my Harry Potter emo love song. It's a tender song about a teenage boy in love with his best friend. We all know how that feels. I see you sitting there in the library. Come on, I'm singing. It's like American Idol. Come on. I will stick my little kids on you. Forget about it. Okay, you won't. I see you sitting there in the library with your nose pressed into a book. And I'm sitting across from you, crossing my fingers, hoping you'll stop and give me a look. The sound of your voice makes my face go full flush, as red as Ron Weasley's hair. I want with all of my being to reach out to take your hand, but I do not dare. I used to think that Cho Chang was the one who was the object of my desire. But now I know, my dear, you're the witch who turns my heart into a goblet of fire. Oh, Hermione Granger, I love you. I can't keep you off of my mind. Climb on the back of my Nimbus 2000 and leave Hogwarts far behind. Far behind. Sometimes I hide under my invisibility cloak, just so I can watch you from afar. And I don't care if your parents are muggles, the lights in your eyes shine like stars. If I have the chance to go back to first year, I'll tell you just what I would do. I wouldn't take that sorting hat from my head till it said I belong to you. And yeah, I know you know who is out there somewhere trying to kill me with his evil dark arts. But the mark he left on my forehead is nothing compared to the lightning bolt-shaped scar on my heart. Oh, Hermione Granger, I love you. I can't keep you off of my mind. Climb on the back of my Nimbus 2000. We'll leave Hogwarts far behind. Far behind. I've written you a note. You're screwing me up with the clap. I got so little rhythm already. Don't mess me up. I've written you a note on a scroll, my dear, and tied it to my owl Hedwig's leg. And I'm hoping my words will convince you to love me, so I don't have to fall to my knees and beg. It says if you love me half as much as I love you, meet me at midnight behind Hagrid's shack. And if you're not there, I'll know that you don't, and I'll have to find my way back to being your best friend.